Sorry for my voice, I'm sick, but so I joined this raid with some bullets and M1A just interchange offline to test the scopes because I was I was curious about the relief, the scope relief. Like the L-can, it used to zoom in your whole screen. It still does it actually. Well, okay, this still does it, but it used to when you control clicked and cycled through the optic choices, it would zoom out and it would be a lot nicer like that, and I used to prefer that. So I guess that's different now. It's fine, whatever. But I was fooling around with the Night Force, excuse me, and as you can see, I'm zeroed at 50. This is less than 50 meters, and it's 760 by 51, so it should have virtually no travel, like the arc, so it arcs up a little bit. So when a bullet travels really slowly and it doesn't have a lot of energy and it falls quickly, when you're zeroed for something farther than the range you're aiming at, the zero will compensate to, at a closer range, the bullet will have to arc significantly higher, which is like the val in this game hits really high when you aim within 50 meters. Usually the gun hits high. That's because of the trajectory. It's accounting for the trajectory to fall off so fast. This gun does not do that. The bullet travels really fast, has not a lot of... The velocity doesn't drop off until much later, so this should be effectively a straight travel path. So I'm lining up the left and right prongs on this optic, and then the verticals like this, and then the horizontals like that. That's accurate, right? But when you zoom in, I was doing the same thing over here. I was aiming for this triangle, and shooting zeroed at 50, and it was hitting like here, and then I zeroed it up to 300, still hitting there. So that was confusing. So here I'll line up the prongs again, ignore the first shot. Yeah, so you zoom in and it hits. I don't know if it's rendering this bullet decal differently when you zoom in, but it seems like it hits off zero, which is odd, very odd to me. I don't understand that. See, it hit low, and even if I zero to like 300, it hits like the same spot. So I don't know if that's just to do with the range I'm shooting at. Here, I'll line it up with the back windows now. Hit right there. I just don't understand it. I'll aim at this one. So I don't know, the zoomed in field of view seems odd. I don't know if it's inaccurate, if it's like just a rendering error with the way that the scope is rendering the bullet report, because when you zoom back out it looks like approximately right, but I don't know, it's weird. It's confusing to me. I'll line it up with the top of the tire here. So that's me zeroed at 50? Really? Okay, I hit accurately that time. Definitely does not... I don't know if it's the recoil and he brings the gun back from the recoil, if it's a little off-center or what, but... So this is zeroed at 50. So that obviously hit very low in respect to the field of view of the gun. But even if I shoot far, like I was doing this earlier to shoot far, just below this little mark. See how low that hit? So let's 0 to 300. That should compensate well over this distance. Well, I was wavering. Hold on. It hit the same spot, basically. So I don't know. It is weird. I don't know if it's the variation in the fact that I'm using a short barrel, if there's some bullet travel inconsistency just by virtue of barrel sway, and like that happens in real life. There is some level of inaccuracy just by nature of the physics. The bullet, the pressure will bend the barrel ever so slightly, things like that. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the field of view, the way that the zoomed in scope is rendering the bullet impact. I don't know if it's the zeroing is still a little off, but this definitely doesn't seem perfect. It does not seem like it's perfect, because they talked a lot about them fixing a lot of these scope FOV errors in the in the patch notes of 0.10. So who knows? We'll see. Yeah, that's that. And I might upload the second part where I test all these optics, just for curiosity's sake. So I like the Night Force field of view, but the relief is really bad. Like, he's not looking through the focal point very properly. If you move, if in real life you were to move your face like a half inch closer, you'd be able to see this optic a lot better. You'd be able to see a much wider field of view instead of this really tight focal point. This looks a lot better though, I'll give them that. This looks miles better. It shoots accurately too. You still got a 0 to 200 for it to be accurate though. Hit the top of the post more or less. Yeah, so keep that in mind. You got to use 200 zeroing for accurate shots with the ACOG. The LCAN still looks fine. It zooms in your full screen. It doesn't revert when you switch now, even though I kind of liked it better when you zoomed out and you held it at full length. But now it feels like more of a sniper optic, I guess. Let's see. We'll line up with other shots. Right above this. So it shoots a bit low, it looks like. Yeah, it shoots a bit lower than the optic. Or than the reticle, I should say, excuse me. Even when you 0 to 200. And then the shots don't even render when you zoom in. I'm curious about all this stuff. Okay, so now they rendered in. So 50, when you zoom in, it seems accurate. 200, it shoots high as it should. But it looks like the zoomed out field of view does not affect the zeroing at all. Which it should marginally. It should at least kind of shift the the zero. It's odd. Also, let's see the hammer. Okay, so that looks a lot cleaner than it did last patch. That's still hitting like the bottom of the triangle. I don't know if I like that, but whatever. Maybe it's just the M1A. I still haven't tested with other guns yet. So that looks properly zeroed. We'll line it up at the top of the shelf. Yeah, so that's properly zeroed. That's good. 0 to 200 and it does its job. This you still kind of gotta aim at the bottom of the triangle still. Okay. Now the Bravo. Okay, the Bravo looks a lot cleaner than it did last patch. That's good. We'll line up at the top. Okay, and that's correctly zeroed as well. And the zeroing does what it's supposed to. Top sight still works. Okay. So I'm probably gonna upload a second thing completely separate, but the Night Force is good in its 1 times or whatever this is. It looks kind of like 4 times. No, it doesn't. I'm retarded. It's 1. And then when you zoom in, the 0 is very weird, and it seems more inaccurate than it should be. So I'm not sure about this, but I don't know if it's the muzzle length or what, but it seems a little off. But it looks like most of the scopes are still good. You still got to zero the Trigon, or excuse me, the Trigicon to 200 to hit the top of the post, and then the LCAN 1 times doesn't really zero, and it shoots a little high, or no, it shoots a little low. You got to aim a little bit above your target to hit. Let me make sure I'm right about that. I can't remember. I already forgot. Hold up. No, it's okay actually. Never mind. It's fine. No, it's okay. It shoots basically on point. Okay. Good then. There's scopes on .10, boys.